Welcome everybody, this is game number 5 in this best of 7 between SCS and iMp, and it looks like Neeb, who is a part of Team SCS, I know that's a little confusing because his name is SCMonk, the Blue Zerg, but Neeb, our yellow Terran spawning down the bottom left corner of Daybreak, has tied the series up at 2-2 after beating, who did he just play? Niter, excuse me, Imp Niter. And yes, he is a high GM player. Neeb is a great player, as you saw in that last game, with a great use. I mean, it was just great play overall, really. There wasn't any sort of great timing. He did hit at that one point before his opponent got charged, which just kind of worked out nicely for him. But he really just kind of out-macroed his opponent, outplayed him as the game went on. He just had better engagements versus his opponent. Niters didn't quite have the army composition they needed. He was missing Templars at first. In the second engagement, Neeb got off great EMPs, EMP'd the entire army. I mean, Neeb just really worked it so that every engagement he fought, he was in a great position to win the battle. And he is going to be going up against SCMonk, who is a part of Team Impulse, and he is going to be the first Zerg that we have actually seen in this best of 7. So game number 5 is the first time we see a Zerg, which is a little bit rare, a little bit strange, you could say, at this time, considering how many Zergs there are, I suppose you could say. So a lot of players complain right now that Zerg is a little OP, and I don't have any comment on the balance of it or anything at this point, but yeah, so you just generally do see a lot of Zergs, I suppose, a lot of successful Zergs, a lot of team Zergs, but neither of these teams really have sent any of them out yet. So Monk just going to be the first Zerg that we do see, and he's going to be coming out of Impulse right there. And if he's able to win this game in this ZVT off of Neeb, who says his TVZ is terrible. I do believe that's what was going on in the chat. I wasn't quite paying attention, but I do think that's what he said. Then we'll see, maybe we'll see a ZVZ later on. Maybe we'll see Team SCS send out a Zerg of their own. So it does look like a 1x FE, and already the barracks being lifted up over here, and look at this, the Overlord going to try and run back to safety. Will he be able to make it in time? I'm not quite sure. It looks like Neeb's going to have enough vision of it with this barracks. Smart play right there, but it looks like Monk might be able to get away. Oh, it's going to be so close. Neeb is going to be forced to run around with his Marine, I believe. No, he's not. The Marine in the corner, able to pick off the Overlord. And as Monk, or as a Zerg, I feel terrible for Monk, because that is one of the worst situations, is losing that first Overlord. You just hate it. Number one, you get no scouting information, right? So all of a sudden, he doesn't know if there's an expansion going up over here. He has absolutely no clue what's going on, besides the fact that the barracks has been lifted, so he can maybe assume it's 1x FE. At least there's not going to be extremely early pressure with that barracks, but other than that, you lose that Overlord. All of a sudden, your Queen timings are a little off. Yes, he was able to extractor trick it out. But I mean, everything is just kind of, it just puts yourself in a terrible position right here. And in the meantime, Neeb going to be able to get into the base right here and scout exactly what's going on, though he will lose this SCV, sadly, a little bit later right there. So Monk grabbing the early speed right there, and that was actually decently early because he's already got speed. It's at 28. So a lot of times you will see players grabbing a single gas around this like 26, 27, 28 supply mark, simply so they can get out of fast speed. But Monk going to be grabbing this speed. I mean, he's already got speed halfway done at the 28 supply mark, now 36. And yeah, so that's very early speed, which of course will equate to early map control. And we'll have to see if he's going to use this for any sort of push or any sort of all-in, whatever it is. Though he is getting the extra queens back home right here, so it does look like he's going to be playing a little bit of a macro style at least. But it's very possible we could still see some sort of... Oops, sorry about that. We could still see some sort of Roach Ling aggression, something like that, or at least some sort of Ling Bane possibly aggression. Not exactly sure, because right now he does not know too much whatsoever. He has an Overlord that's been running around the back, sees the gas, but he's seen nothing at the front yet. So now the Hellions do pop out, so he at least knows that's going to be a Hellion opener, so he's going to at least have opened with reactored Hellion. If you do judge by the timing, then you know it's a 1x FE into the Hellions. which I'm sure Monk, at his level of play, does know right there. So Monk, in the meantime, going to be grabbing this third base, additionally grabbing another gas, only getting 2 gas though, which is surprising because a lot of players will grab 3 or 4 gases at this time. So it doesn't look like Monk too interested in grabbing a fast lair or too interested in really grabbing fast upgrades and everything like that, because if you look at it, you will have the double engine or double evo plus a hatchery to morph into a lair right there. That's a lot of gas. So I'm not sure that he's really going to be planning for going for all that exactly. He will have the evo chambers out in time, at least for the cloak banshees, which are coming out right now. That'll be very helpful. And Monk now going to be moving out with these queens to go ahead and defend right there. In the meantime, he's got some speedlings as well as the queen up here. So this, of course, is all going to equate to a very nice defense against Hellions. Won't allow them to do too much damage, but is it possible they pair up with the Banshee and start going in for some damage? Or it looks like they might actually just spread. So they're going to get in there, kill off the creep tumor, just be annoying as they can. And now some links do head over, and here we do see the Banshee finally moving in. Is there a sport card going up? Yes, there is. So he will be able to get on the other side of that if he wants, and there you can see he is going to move over. And additionally, he will have cloak. He needs to move out of the range, though, I do believe. Yes, he's still in range of that sport color, so he needs to move away, and he actually stayed in detection range the entire time. So poor Neeb going to be losing that Banshee right there to a couple of queens, as he just simply had to move right. You know, if he was just like right there, he would have been fine. But unfortunately, he was not. So some sport colors going up at all the bases, 2 at each base, and that's going to be plenty enough. Monk's in a great position at this point for defending. He as well has the drone lead, and as you can see, 56 to 45, making even more drones at this time. But if you look at this, Neeb going for a mech style, but it's simply a 2-base mech style, and it is going to get scouted as well, as Monk does move in at a great timing. So 930 right there. If you're a Zerg player and you want to know when should I get into scout to see what tech he's taking, that right there is a quality scout by Monk as he moves in and sees, oh, okay, he's going mech, so I know what to prepare for. And it looks like he's going to continue with these 1-1 upgrades right here, out of just for the Zerglings for his melee units. So not going to be moving to roaches, which we do see some players see, but it's possible he will go for some sort of fast hive play to get out fast broodlords, which of course are very effective against mech play. Or possible he goes for some sort of Infestor Ultralisk play. But regardless, he's going to be droning a lot. As you saw right there in the production tab, he had 15 drones at the time. He's up to 63 now, 9 more on the way, so going to be at 72 drones. And I mean, he could just keep droning for a little bit because, as you know, mech just does not push out very quickly. It's just one of those slow building sort of forces. So he does have a third base started here now at the front. I suppose he had that earlier, but I just might have missed it. But it wasn't the fastest third base. A lot of times you'll see players grab that third base like right after this factory or before the factory even, or they'll grab it like right after the starport goes down. They'll grab that third. So he opted to instead grab the armories and stuff and his other factories at the same time, it looks like, as this command center is going down, or near that. So it's not the fastest, but he still will have a third base at a decent time. And Monk, in the meantime, just continuing to drone up back home at 74 drones, plus 7 more on the way, going to be at 81 drones. And now he's moving up into hive tech. I mean, that's such a fast transition. That's exactly what you want. Against a mech player, you want to move in so quickly to deal with that stuff, because it's just going to be your effective way of, or it's a free ride to the hive tech, right? And a Zerg army is just so strong with that hive tech army that if you can just push over to it and just mass up on it, get that free 4th base, get those free 80 drones, get the free hive tech, you can just get that scary Broodlord Infestor army that's so difficult to deal with. So here, I was about to say I'd like to see some counterattacks out of Monk, or some little, whatever attacks here, and we are going to see them, and no blue flame yet, so it looks like these Lynx can get in and actually be able to kill off a couple Hellions right there, but they do all sacrifice their lives. But wow, I'm surprised that blue flame has not been researched, and it looks like Neeb was surprised too, as he suddenly starts Blue Flame as well. So he's like, oh wait, I forgot to get that. So he starts that. Additionally, he grabs Siege Mode, so he will have both of those that he can then, of course, make a later push, but he needs to be careful what army he's going to be pushing into, of course, because that max, as I said before, max 200 Broodlord Infestor army of the Terran player is just so hard to push into, and if you watch the GSL finals, you would know just how deadly it is as you watch Life's whenever he made it to that late game army just absolutely crush and dominate the game. So we do see the 4 bases, of course, of Monk fully saturated now and needs to be getting on these gases fairly soon. And 4 bases though for Neeb additionally, who took that fast 4th after that fast 3rd right there, which I do love. Great play, and if he can get this planetary fortress up right here, this will put him in a very nice position. He's going to be even bases versus Zerg, who I would have liked to have seen double expand personally, and there he goes for an expansion right now. But yeah, so 4 base versus 4 base is a great position for a Terran player. It allows you to basically trade at a very fair rate, and then of course you have more cost-efficient units generally than the Zerg player, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for a Zerg player to deal with. And here it looks like we are going to see some Lings try and run by. Are they going to make it by? Either way, looks like they're going to make it into the natural and the 3rd, as Neeb kind of has his army stuck out all in the front there. So no, they actually turn around at that natural, don't quite make it in, but they will be heading over to the 3rd, and the Blue Flames now just going to start cleaning them up, so not too much damage there. Going to be done by these Lings. They're going to force a little bit of lost mining time, but overall Neeb is not in a bad position, and Monk just going to continue to remax on the Lings, and he will be grabbing the Ultralisk. So he's going to go for that Ling Infestor Ultra army, which is extremely strong when you throw out all the infested Terrans. You can just throw them all over the place, block in the mech army, and just absolutely destroy it. I've seen it happen so many times. And I'm excited to see if that is what Monk is going to be able to do, or how exactly Neeb's going to play this out. You have to remember he does have a lot of Banshees, so the Infested Terrans will be good against the Banshee play right there, and some more Ling run-bys. Gonna try and do some damage, gonna be able to pick off possibly a tank. No, just missed the tank. But they will run back here to try and get a little scouting information. And so one Ling is alive. He may be able to get up and pick off a couple SCVs or something. So even more run-bys by these Zerglings right here by Monk, and I mean he's just buying time at this point, which is a very smart thing to do, because the more time he buys, the more ultras he gets in that army, and the harder it is for Neeb to overcome. But here it looks like Neeb is gathering up for a push, I would presume here, as he's very, very near to that max army. Going to be pulling some SCVs now to repair all of these units, and then I would assume he's going to be pushing out, as that final tank does get its repairs. And I suppose there's a Thor and a, what is that, a Hellion down there? Yeah, it looks like a Hellion that need repairing as well. And look at the creep spread here by Monk. So while it's not the most impressive creep spread you've ever seen, still very decent creep spread. He's getting all the way up and around here, and it just makes it, the further the creep spread pushes out, the harder it is, of course, for that Terran player to push over, because all of these units of the Zerg player can just absolutely surround a Terran army in no time if it's on creep. So of course it's just going to force a tough time for the Zerg player, who once again is still just biding his time, still just waiting. And just now grabbing his 3-3 though. Very surprising how late that 3-3 was, considering how fast he had the considering how fast he had the hive. And look at that. Looks like he forgot. Is it Kitnus plating? Kitnus plating. I'll say that. We're gonna go with Kitnus plating. Regardless, Ultralisk plating has not been researched, so he is only on 2-2 right now, as opposed to the 5-3 he could have on his Ultras and the 3-3 he could have on his Lings, and that right there could prove deadly if Neeb pushes out and catches him before this 3-3 does finish up. And I mean, look at this. I do love that he is grabbing drops. Once again, can just be even more annoying, can drop Lings all into the base, tear off tech labs, make it so it's harder for him to reinforce, everything like that. But I mean, Neeb now in a strong position, adding on a lot of factors right here for some more production, adding down more command centers all over the place. Look at the command centers he has. And I mean, so you can start morphing orbitals, morphing commands as well. Planetary fortresses, excuse me. We'll have to see what exactly he decides on. possibly to just deal with counterattacks, things like that. But I'm surprised how he has not pushed out yet. It's possible that he's just waiting to simply gather up more resources, so that he, of course, can just reinforce better if this army is to kind of get crushed as he pushes out. So that might be what he's waiting for, but I'm not exactly sure. He's sunk so much money into all these orbital commands right here, so he will have a ton of mules. As you can see, he's purely mining on mules over at this base. But in the meantime, we do have Monk, who has gathered up a decent number of overlords right here. And is he going to be heading out with these overlords, possibly filling them up fairly soon? There we go. He's going to start filling some overlords up over here to go in and drop the main base. And in the meantime, Planetary Fortresses, double Planetary Fortress actually, goes down at this 5th base for Neeb. So now with all of these tech labs, all these factories being added on, it looks like he's going to start possibly moving out. Yes, he will. And will these overlords actually go in for a drop or not? I'm so confused why he's just sitting them here. So he's just kind of waiting with the overlords. And they might actually get picked off for free by these Thors right here if he does not react in time. And look at this. He doesn't have speed. So poor Monk, not only did he forget Kitness plating, but he forgot speed. And he's just going to be losing overlords worth of units, as well as just overlords for supply right here. Finally, speed does finish. So he sent some units in for a drop, was unable to get anything out of it. And now it looks like some of the Ultras are going to try and push over. But instead, they aren't going to be able to do anything. He's actually going to lose an Ultra, possibly no. Just take some damage on them right there. And just like that, it looks like Neeb is in a great position. We are going to see Monk try and head in here with a few overlords to do some damage. And it's possible that these lings will drop down, though a few turrets are getting in there. So yes, you will get a drop in. But at the same time, you have to see that Monk is absolutely getting decimated at the front here. He's simply going around for counterattacks with all these ultras. There's the double command center over here, though. So will these ultras be able to take it down? You have to remember they are only 3-3, not the 5-3. And it looks like Neeb going to be able to take out this 4th base in front right here. Not contested very much at all. Here's all the infestors and lings and banelings, and it looks like he will lose that 5th base. But the banshees overhead going to be able to take out so many of these ultras, do so much damage right here. Some broodlords have been morphed though. I made us, yeah, he has 6 broodlords on top, but the problem is we see Monk losing the base down here somewhat, and that is just going to be very crucial. If Neeb can get a siege up right here, he'll be in a great position. And will it happen? The broodlord's now pushing over. The baneling's going to come in, so they'll be able to take out a couple of the Thors out in front right there. One of them does go down, but the broodlords gathered all up, so the Thor shot's going to be taking them out fairly quickly. You have to remember they are, what, 0-0 broodlords? Yes, so 0-0 broodlords versus these 3-3 Thors right here, and they're just going to fall so quickly. The infested Terrans, though, doing a lot of damage themselves. They're able to take out a lot of Thors there at the front. Additionally, there's not much supply at all for Neeb, as all of these lings in the base picked off so many supply depots. The command centers were going down left and right, so now Neeb finally go to get some supply somewhere. I believe he did a call down somewhere, or there's all the fresh supply depots he just built. But I still feel like Neeb is in a better position. He's got the greater supply than his opponent. Additionally, you have to remember he has the 4 bases to the 3 that SCMonk has at this time right here. So will Neeb be able to finish this game off soon? I'm not quite sure. He does have a nice supply lead, but at the same time, you have to remember he doesn't have an army very I don't even see much of an army. He has 168 supply, but it's all building at this time. He's got 7 Thors on the way, 5 Vikings. He's got a couple units out here with a few tanks, but really everything's in production, so he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. In the meantime, we're going to be seeing Monk retaking his 4th base and his 5th base, so doing the double expand that I wish he did a lot earlier on. But here we're going to see Neeb. Yeah, no, Monk, excuse me, heading over here to this 5th base. So once again, this is going to force the liftoff, force the SCVs to pull back, though they will possibly die off. Now some Blue Flame Hellions going to head over and it's going to start burning away. There's going to be a surround, though, so he will lose a single one, it looks like, right there. And now he's going to be able to head over and start picking away. And how did he see that? Oh, there was a turret right there. So he's going to have to scan, and he sees that there's even more, and will he get there in time to kill off all the Zerglings before the scan goes away? Yes, he will, so he's going to be able to land this 5th base now once again, and he sees, of course, that his opponent has taken these expansions. Though Monk not mining anything right now. Look at this, 140, 120, 100 minerals, 80 minerals. I mean, he's not mining any minerals whatsoever. So all of his minerals are going to be mined as soon as these bases do finish up here. a few drones, but how many drones does he even have? I was just looking at 43 or 50 drones to the 43 SCVs. But of course, that's not as big of a problem for Neeb, as he has all of this orbital command energy. 3, 4, I think some 5. Yep. And poor Thors did get caught right here. So some Ultra is going to be sent over as sacrifices, it looked like. That's not what SCMonk wanted at all. And that right there is an invitation to Neeb saying, hey, you know what? You just killed off 2 of my Ultras. Why don't you come on over with all your Thors and Banshees and Vikings and deal some more damage right there. So the Thor's going to head over, and will they be able to pick off this base? Will the Lings get out in time? Is there even enough Lings to really do anything? Looks like the Banshee's going to be picked off, but he does lose that base so quickly. So many Thors right there. 12 Thors actually, able to do a ton of damage, and now it looks like Neeb going to start pushing in with this army. He is going to be forced to lift off his 5th yet again though, so going to have to abandon right there. And does he have anything to deal with these Lings? He's got some Vikings that he's going to be dropping down. Will it be enough though? Here he's going to head over, pick off the Natural. He can pick off the Greater Spire possibly as well, and I'm not sure that Monk has enough to deal with this. It looks like he's going to be coming in for a decent attempt at this round. A lot of Infested Terrans being thrown out. The Ultras are going down pretty quickly, but it looks like the Infested Terrans and the Ultras should be enough to clean off all these Thors, I'd imagine. Yes, they will. So the Thors will be going down right there. But at what cost? Monk has lost his base yet again. He's down to this single mining base, and of course you have to commend Monk for denying this 5th base so often. But here it doesn't look like he'll get the burrow right there. So it looks like Neeb will yet again be able to land this and just drop a ton of mules. Wait, did he actually lose those command centers? It looks like he did. So it looks like Neeb lost a couple command centers. Oh, he just lifted one off. So he did lose, I think, a single, maybe 2 command centers over there, or orbital commands. But of course, he was able to continue picking off the base of Monk, who's stuck just mining on this one base. It doesn't even have, so he has 48 drones. I'm not sure where they're sitting at. There's one right there, a few back at the Natural. I mean, they're just kind of chilling all over the place. Long distance mining the gas. His composition is everywhere right now. And here, yet again, we're going to see Neeb getting his 5th base tonight. So he really needs to find a way to deal with all these Ling run-bys, which are so great by Monk. This is what's keeping him in the game at this point. And as you can see, neither player is really mining too well at the time. We do have at least some minerals left at this 3rd base and a couple at this Natural for Neeb right here. So he's mining on like a base and a half total, I'd say. But of course, if he can just land this, he'd be in such a better position. Versus Monk, who's simply mining on this one base, trying to reestablish this 2nd base. If he can get this up, he can put himself in a good position. Here he's got the Broodlords as well, plus with these Lings on the 3/3 upgrades, going for the run-bys, and that's how you deal with it, is you get 8 Hellions and you just park them over there and say, you know what, no more run-bys for you. This is how I'm going to deal with your army. But look at this. He had 12 Thors before. This time he has 14 Thors. He has massed up such a massive army so quickly. Very surprised. I did not think he had the income for that, but it looks like he had a little bit banked or a little bit saved up right there. And how is Monk going to deal with this? I don't think this army is enough right here, so he's going to have to kind of wait it out. Will he lose this base yet again in the front? It looks like we're going to see some Vikings head into the main, just kind of check it out. I don't think he's going to go for a drop. No, so it's possible that Neeb was just kind of, defending, securing his 6th base, I should say. Now we're going to have some Hellions running by, trying to sneak over here to kill off some drones, but that has been quickly spotted out and will be cleaned up with ease right there by Monk. So doing a good job trying to stay in this game. Can't do a ton at this time simply because he does not have the army. So it's just basically going to be doing some run-bys every now and then, trying to deny every now and then, and really just keep his opponent's army back. And look at how many Vikings, 17 Vikings for the, 3 Broodlords. So he's got his opponent to invest in all these Vikings, which really aren't going to be too useful in the fight. But the problem is he still has to deal with all of those Thors right there, and that right there could be so crucial. So the Vikings going to get fungled. A ton get fungled right there. It looks like they aren't going to get chain fungled though. They're going to actually be able to back away, but the Vikings now going to start picking away at these Broodlords right here. There's only 3 Broodlords, but he's still going to be able to take them out. It looks like possibly, yes, one goes down, a second goes down. Will he get the 3rd? Yes, he will. So 3 go down. He does lose a lot of Vikings, but yet again, he's able to take out this 4th base right here of Monk. So Monk is left to simply having this 1 mining base down the bottom right. And if Neeb, who's heading over there now, can pick that off, that could just be crucial right there. Monk might not have any chance. If this does go down, he'll simply have his remaining army. It looks like we're going to see Monk try and go for a counterattack of his own, sending the Ultras instead of the Lynx to deal with that, and a couple of Thors and Hellions are going to be able to take out the space. In the meantime, Neeb's now going to start once again pushing out towards